What is up, guys? My name is Lex, back here at the Lodge for another live stream 5-10 Match the Stack, starting here with 2,000 chips. But don't you guys worry, this game gets huge very, very quickly. First hand here, Tito opens it up under the gun +2. I call next to act with King 10 of hearts. Could 3-bet, could call. Llama makes the call in the cutoff. Big blind calls before T1000 makes it 500. Tito makes the call with his suited connector. Given the fact that I feel like a lot of the players are going to call behind me, I'm going to get a good price, and I'm on a live stream, I want to give some action. I call, and the other players call as well. 5 ways in a 3-bet pot to King 10-7, 2 diamonds, top 2 pair for me. Big blind checks. T1000 puts out a bet, and given the stack sizes here, the pot size, all these other players in the hand, not going to slow play top 2 pair here. I am all in for my last 2,900 chips. Llama puts all of his chips in as well as Cindy, and T1000 makes the call. That is a 4-way all-in here at the Lodge, my very first hand at this live stream game. There's almost $12,000 in the middle. We get to see the hands. I'm now chopping with Cindy with top 2 pair. Llama's got the nut flush draw, and T1000's got a gut shot straight draw and some backdoor outs. This pot is huge. After counting all the side pots, we decide to run out this one time.
8-9. 3 o'clock. 8-9 suited. I can't. Not that one. No, yeah. I take it back. 3 o'clock.
Damn it.
Here we go.
Whoa, are we going once or twice?
So you only have
once?
2 hands.
Okay.
7-8.
They're going to go one time. Burn is off.
All right, I'm in with 7-8.
Oh, that is a spicy.
Now they all.
The turn is a queen. It's a safe one, but it does give T1000 some more outs. Final card here on the river.
I feel like JC's going to fucking win this one somehow.
Wow, JC came from way behind T1000.
9%.
Oh, my
Good grief.
I knew he was going to win.
That is bananas.
I felt it.
Running queens.
Clean living.
Oh my god.
How is that possible?
Beats top 2
It's so
versus 2 players and the nut flush draw.
He gets it in so bad. That's
He really did. He got it in so bad.
I'll take care of it.
You can hear me say it right before the dealer puts out the 5th card. I felt like JC was going to win this one, and he did. Running queen to take down a huge $12,000 pot, and I am stacked, down $3,500 my very first hand.
I felt it. It was going to come.
The only good thing about T1000 winning that pot is now I can match his stack. I rebuy for 15,000 and get into this next hand. I raise King 10 offsuit to $75 in the hijack before JC 3-bets me to $325. He's got a lot of money to play for. I have a lot of money to play for. I think this is just an easy call in position, which is what I do, and we go heads up to Queen 8-7 2 clubs. He checks to me, and I'm going to start a bluff here. Try to get him to fold out his ace-high hands. Hands like King Jack that may fold as well. Maybe even some smaller pocket pairs, so I bet $225, and he makes the call. Turn card's a bad one for me. It's an 8. It's a little hard to keep representing strong hands when the board pairs. I check back on the river card 5 of clubs. I'm left here with King High. If JC bets, I'll easily be folding, but he checks over to me. Now I have to make a decision. Do I want to go for a bluff here or just check down King High and most likely lose? Once he check calls me on the flop after 3-betting pre-flop, I think he's most likely going to have hands like pocket 9s, 10s, jacks, maybe some ace-high hands with clubs. So I think it's kind of close, but I decided to go for it. A $900 river bluff here. I can easily have a flush. I've got the king of clubs in my hand. I would play a flush draw exactly like this, betting on the flop, checking the turn, and then betting here on the river. Hopefully we can get this one through. As you can see, JC is thinking this one over with ace-10 offsuit. And eventually, he calls. Oh, man. I get my soul red here, getting called by ace-high. Man, pretty rough. And after this hand, and the first hand, I'm down over $5,000. Although not my favorite start, being down over 5K, the good thing is that these pots are big, there's a lot of action, and a lot of money on this table. I can easily get it back. All I gotta do is run well and hopefully play well. Next up here, it folds to the button who races to $100. You can see now in the small blind the player has a rubber ducky with a Santa Claus hat. That means that we're playing the nit game and he has yet to win a hand. He re-raises now to $400. I've got a rubber ducky with a Santa Claus hat on as well, which means I haven't won a hand in the nit game, so I cold 4-bet with King 10 offsuit to $1,000. It's only me and Cinnabon left in the stand-up game, so it's a battle here. 3-bet versus 4-bet, small blind versus straddle. Cinnabon does come along with a call. This is it. The loser of this hand has to pay out the bounty to the entire table, and I get lucky with a king high board, giving me top pair. Cinnabon checks to me. I bet 1,300, and he makes the call. Turn card now, biggest break in the deck, deuce of diamonds. I glance over at Cinnabon's stack. It looks like he's got about $3,000 behind. This is a 4-bet pot. I've got top pair with a medium-sized kicker. Sometimes I could be beat here by king, queen, king, jack, ace, king, pocket queens. But in the stand-up game, I'm just going to go for it. I put him all in for his last $3,000. Cinnabon is thinking this one over. I could easily be bluffing here with straight draws, flush draws, ace-high hands. In the past, I've lost a lot of money not trying to lose the stand-up game. After tanking for roughly 2 minutes, Cinnabon makes the good fold, lays this one down. We get a little bit back here and do not have to pay the nit bounty. So that is a win-win for me. A fun hand up next where my pre-flop decision could come back to bite me in the ass. Under the gun now, Cinnabon raises to $75, and then next to act, re-raises to $300 before I peel back pocket kings. A very interesting spot. Under the gun raise, under the gun +1 3-bet, pocket kings next to act. I think I should always be 4-betting here, but sometimes I could set the trap and just put in the call. The reason that I just call here, 1, is to underrep my hand. 2, maybe allow some aggressive players to my left to maybe try to squeeze with some hands that they think they can get through, given the fact that my call is fairly weak. And also by calling here, it can allow Cinnabon in there with weaker hands, or maybe even he could put in a 4-bet as well. But that doesn't happen when Cinnabon makes the call. We're up against ace-jack, ace-king, no ace on the flop. And we do fade the ace and hit a king for top set. Always nice to flop the nuts in Texas, and it gets even better when Tito continues for $500 into 2 players. No need to raise with top set here. I want to allow him to keep bluffing if he is, and allow him to keep betting worse hands. So I make the call, Cinnabon folds, turn card, brick. Tito goes all in. We have a very quick snap call. He is drawing dead. A cooler deck here, ace-king versus kings on a king-high board. And we do win a big one here, around $6,000+ going our way. And just like that, we are unstuck on the session. For this next poker hand we're going to go over, I am going to black out my opponent's cards so that you can sweat the action with me. Hijack, pocket kings again. I raise to $100. Before the cutoff, Llama, his nickname is Llama. I'm not really sure why his real name is Jake, but he goes by Llama. He re-raises me to $325. Now, from what I haven't shown you guys earlier on in the session is that Llama has 3-bet me quite a lot. I didn't know if he had it all the time or if he was just 3-bet bluffing all the time. But of course, with pocket kings, very deep stack, around $12,000 effective, I think a 4-bet is definitely in store. I contemplate my options, how big I want to make it, and I think probably $1,200 would be good out of position, but I decided to just make it $1,000 even. I don't normally play this deep stack poker. Usually I'm playing 5-10 with around a $3,000 to $5,000 stack, so being this deep stack, it definitely adds a little bit of stress to the poker hands, but that is why I came here to Texas, was to play some big pots with big deep stacks. Now back over here to Llama. He is thinking. He hasn't folded yet, which means he must have a hand. He contemplates his options and then puts in a 5th bet to $2,300. $300. This really surprised me. You just don't tend to see many 5-bets in these games. Also, Jake hasn't gotten out of line too much this session, so I actually am a little bit concerned here. It's very likely he could have pocket aces. When he makes his 5-bet in position, he most likely has hands like aces, ace-king suited, ace-5 suited, maybe pocket kings. Up against that range, I'm not doing too well, but I don't think I can fold. It's only $1,100 or actually $1,300 more for me to call. I'm about to put in the chips before my opponent reaches back in his bag and puts on a mask, a llama mask. What is going on here? I guess the llama is going to be a llama in a 5-bet pot to a 10-7-4 2-diamond board. I'm trying to keep my composure, trying to stay nice and stoic, but it's pretty hard when you have a llama to your left. I check over to the llama, who puts out a bet of $1,300. Now the action back over on me. In a 5-bet pot with pocket kings on a Texas live stream versus a guy who puts on a llama mask, I just don't think I'm ever getting away from this hand. I do think a raise would be unnecessary on this flop. I think my only option is just to call and hope I don't see an ace or a diamond on the turn, which we don't. It is the 3 of spades. Doesn't improve me, but shouldn't really improve my opponent either unless he does have a hand like ace-5 suited, and now he has a gut shot straight draw. I check over to the llama again. There's $7,200 in the middle. I've got an overpair on a 10-high board and a 5-bet pot. My opponent's got around $8,500 in his stack, and after thinking for roughly 1 minute, he goes all in. Yikes, this is a sketchy one. An over pot size jam 5-bet pot. I'm basically only losing to aces unless somehow he has a set here like 7s or 10s. Seems unlikely. He can easily have a flush draw or a straight draw, maybe pocket queens. I have no idea what to do in this situation. I'm in a pretty tough spot. Pause the video below. Let me know what you guys would do in this situation with pocket kings. After a little bit of thinking, I come up with my decision.
Be like clicking buttons over there.
I'm never going to fold.
Makes the call. Shows the kings, shows the kings.
Oh, that's reasonable. King 4 diamonds? Is that what that is?
They have kings and kings.
Oh, kings and kings. I saw this king 4 diamonds.
How many times?
How many times?
I put in the call and get shown pocket kings, a little anticlimactic for you guys, but it was fun on my end, having to play half the hand against a llama mask in a 5-bet pot for $24,000 in the middle. I'll actually take pocket kings versus pocket kings. Some of the time, or a decent amount of the time, I'll be up against pocket aces here, so I'll take it. We end up chopping this one up and moving on to the next one. I have really been trying to work on my game the last 2 years, and I feel like it is helping. I'm feeling more and more comfortable in these higher limit games against tougher players. $50 straddles on, I raise queen jack offsuit to 125 before Bulldog re-raises me to $400 on the dealer button. If you guys remember this guy from 2 videos ago, he is a wild card. Queen jack offsuit is not really good enough to call here out of position versus a 3-bet, but it could be a hand I could turn into a 4-bet bluff, and that is what I do. Up against the Bulldog, I make it $1,200, and he makes a very quick call. An ace, wheel, flop, I check, and he checks. Turn card king, I announce a bet, and he snap folds very quickly, and we get this one through. Up next, with the $50 straddle on, folds me in the small blind. King 10 offsuit, I raise to 175. Llama gets out of the way. Trey now looks down at King Queen offsuit and decides to re-raise me to $625. Bulldog gets out of the way, and King 10 offsuit really is not that good of a hand. With that said, I'm on a Texas live stream. I want to give some action. Also, if I raise and fold every 3-bet, these players could definitely take advantage of me. So I put in $450 more, and we're heading to a flop in a 3-bet pot, which is not good for my hand, but pretty good for my perceived range. 6-8-5 all diamonds. I should be connecting much harder with this flop than Trey will, given the fact that he re-raised pre-flop. And once he puts out a bet of only $300 into a $1,300 pot, I just don't think he's going to have an overpair or a flush very often with this sizing. I don't want to just call here with my 10 high flush draw. I think a raise actually would be pretty fun. So that's what I do. I make it $800 to go, trying to put pressure on those ace high hands, king high hands, and also his overpairs, even though I don't think he has an overpair here very often. Once he makes a very quick call, I'm pretty sure he has a hand like ace-king, ace-queen with a diamond, maybe king-queen with a diamond. So when the turn card's a jack of spades, there's around $3,000 in the middle. He's got around $3,500 left in his stack. I could give up and check, or I can continue to put on the pressure, and that is what I do. I fire out a $5,000 bubblegum chip, putting my opponent all in and in a tough spot. I do think if he even had tens here or queens, it would be kind of a tough spot for him as well. But it's also a tough spot for hands like ace-king with a diamond, king-queen with a diamond, ace-queen with a diamond as well. He thinks this one over. He says out loud, "It would suck if you have the ace of diamonds. It could be drawing dead." And eventually he folds, and we get this bluff through with king 10 offsuit and take this pot down. I am in this game for $18,000, so an $18,000 stack looks great, but I'm actually just break even on the session. We do decide to play another Rubber Ducky stand-up nit game. I believe the bonus or bounty is $75 per player. This is the very first hand of the new nit game, and I'm on the button with king 9 offsuit. There's a raise by Stash to 150, a later position raise. He could be trying to steal the blinds here. I think I can easily put in a 3-bet, try to go heads up with him, or maybe even just take this one down pre-flop and make it $500 to go. Folds back over to Stash, who has a premium holding, so he makes the call. Jack 8-5, action goes check check. Turn card king, giving me top pair. He checks, I check back. River card 4, and he leads out for $1,000. Pot size bet, I snap call and get shown the bad news. 2 pair versus my top pair. We do not get rid of our nit button, and we lose around $1,500 in this hand.
Well over 700 people watching. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Yep, doesn't count what I said.
We have this nice aerial view before this next hand. You can see I'm on the left here, seat 7 with a Rubber Ducky. Llama to my left has a Rubber Ducky, and T1000 in seat 2 also has a duck. That means 3 of us have yet to win a hand for the stand-up game. It's getting down to crunch time here. The $50 straddle's on. T1000 makes it $200 out of the hijack. Button calls $200. Ace-10 offsuit seems like a hand that can easily be ahead of a range from someone who's trying to win a hand in the hijack raising. And after a button call, I think it's an easy spot to put in a 3-bet squeeze. So I bump it here to $1,200. T1000 gets out of the way with his suited 8, but Stash is pretty sticky and he ends up making the call. Once he makes the double call here on the button without his nit button, I feel like he's just going to have a moderate strength hand. We're heads up out of position to 9-6-2 with 2 diamonds. I completely miss on this board. There's $2,500 in the middle. I could c-bet, but without a diamond in my hand, I don't really want to fire on this flop. So I slow down now and check over to the button. And he pretty quickly fires out a bet. The graphics say he's got $7,000 in his stack, but he most likely has $12,000. He makes it $1,300 to go. Now with ace-10 offsuit, there's really just not much I can do in this situation. I'm most likely just going to have to fold and concede this pot. But on 9-6-2 in a 3-bet pot, what kind of hands could he really have on this board that are very strong? He could have a set of 9s and 6s and deuces, but that's about it. He shouldn't have any 2 pairs. He's not calling $1,200 with 9-6 offsuit or 6 deuce or 9 deuce. I also feel like he's going to stab here a lot of the time once I check to him on the flop. He can easily be betting here with a bluff with hands like queen high, king high, jack high, ace high. He can also be betting smaller pocket pairs like 3s, 4s, and 5s. I just don't think I can call in this situation. I don't want to fold either. So I think I could actually put in a raise on this flop and represent hands like aces, kings, and queens. He shouldn't have 2 pair on this board. I can have all this strong over pairs and he really can't. So with that said, I come up with a plan of raising this flop and then bombing the turn unless it's a diamond 5, 7, 8, or 10. I reach down and grab 4 banana $1,000 chips and fire them into the middle for a $4,000 raise.
This looks like that's a good bet. I was like, that's a good bet.
Thanks.
Even as squirrely as things are looking.
Nice play by Lexo.
Another bluff gets through. Even though we did have the best hand with ace high, it feels good to win this pot. Lose our Nick game button, not going to be paying out that bounty tax. And now it is my turn to put on the llama mask.
And yeah, you can't.
Sorry.
You can't help him with his raise.
I wasn't listening to them. Don't worry. Should I put the mask on?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
All
go
right.
for it.
Let's fucking do it.
Do it.
Look to your right. Look up. I look to your right.
Fuck! You stole my mask?
Yeah, let me take it off. I can't breathe.
Come on. This is for the Nick
This
game.
could be like a 11.
Jake says, you stole my mask?
Be 11
No, he brought an identical one from home.
Hold on. Let me just, before I go.
It's always fun playing on a live stream here at the Lodge in Texas, leading in to the last hand of the night. As you saw in the graphics there, my VPIP is a little bit low, 24% on a Texas live stream. I'd like to be up in the 30s, but there's really not much you can do when you're card dead the entire session. Not really picking up too many playable hands. Now I put on the $50 straddle, llama raises under the gun to 150, Trey makes the call next to act, and I complete for $100 more with king 3 offsuit. 3 ways to 8, 2, 3, 2 clubs. Second pair for me, I check. Llama bets 150, and Trey snap raises him to $500. Seems like a very easy fold here with my second pair, but something was just telling me in my gut that neither of my opponents were very strong, and if I maybe put in another raise, I could get them to fold out both of their cards. I've got a 3 in my hand, so I block them from having pocket 3s. Neither of them should have 2 pair on this board. With that said, I feel like if I put in another raise on this flop, it will look super strong, and I could even get both of my opponents to fold an overpair. So that's what I do. I put in a 3-bet, the re-raise to $1,800. Llama very quickly gets rid of his pocket 6s. Trey looks back at his cards and folds his ace high, and we get this one through somewhat of a value merge bluff. I show the cards, and this kind of sums up my last session here at the Lodge. Over a 4.5 hour live stream, I didn't pick up too many playable hands, didn't really make any big value hands either. I just had to bluff a lot. I had to bluff earlier there with Queen Jack offsuit pre-flop. I had to bluff King 10 offsuit versus Trey. Had to check raise bluff Ace 10 offsuit, and then now here with the 3. I end up profiting $740 on this session. I'll take it after being down $5K early on. After the live stream, myself and some other poker players that were visiting here in Austin go to Terry Black's barbecue, and this place was awesome. My first time here, I ended up getting the brisket sandwich, mac and cheese and rice. It was really, really good. After we ate, we all rented scooters and went sightseeing in downtown Austin.
For the vlog, boys. Woo!
Yeah. You don't even know. Yeah, there we go.
Oh!
After falling in a 5-foot manhole and almost breaking my leg, we do end up making it here to 6th Street, walk down, and then after about half an hour, end up calling it a night. Alright guys, that is it for this one. Every single time that I go to the Lodge and play poker, I just feel like it's an awesome place to play. The dealers, the staff, the management, everyone there is just super friendly. Everything just goes very easy as well. There's never any issues. It's quick, fast, efficient. They get to your seat, they cash you out quick. It's just, everything just works very smoothly there. I'm always very impressed when I go to the Lodge. I'm actually flying out to Vegas in 1 hour. I'm here in Florida, going from Fort Lauderdale to Vegas for about a week or so. I'm going to be playing cash games at the Wynn, making poker vlogs, playing cash games at the Bellagio, and then also playing the biggest tournament I've ever played in my entire life, a $10,000 buy-in WPT main event, which is going to be in a couple of days. So that'll be a vlog, a few vlogs after this. But there was an interaction that I had with a friend, a player, just about a month ago that kind of sparked up some thoughts in my head. And this is my YouTube channel, and I kind of want to talk a little bit. It's going to be somewhat non-poker related, but yeah, this is my channel, so I guess I can say whatever I want. Anyway, so This interaction happened about a month ago. I was at the Hard Rock playing a $400 tournament. It was multi-day. It was probably like Flight C or, something like that. I'm trying to bag to day number 2. And I see this guy who I've known now for about 4 or 5 years. We used to play poker in Miami, 1-2 no limit. I've known him for a while. He was actually one of the first big supporters of my YouTube channel. He watched like my very first videos and was commenting and texting me about it. And throughout the last 2.5 years, he's always been keeping up with my vlogs. Every single time we see each other in the poker rooms, we'll talk to each other, go back and forth. And it's pretty cool to have someone that's been there basically from day one. Well, I see him, I go up to him, I'm like, hey man, nice to see you. He's like, Lex, what's up, man? I see you've been crushing it. You're killing it. I just watched that 45K pot you won off Alec Torelli. Man, you're living the life. Keep it up, bro. You're doing great. All this positive things. He's like, it's really cool to, to see your channel grow and to see how good you're doing. Keep it up, man. I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Fist bump, whatever. Good luck in the tournament. Hey, good luck to you. Go back to my seat. And as I'm playing for the next hour or so, I start to kind of reminisce what he said to me. And it started to make me think that there's a lot of people out there who post content and post things on social media and portray a certain image that maybe doesn't correlate up to how they actually are or who they actually are or how they actually feel. So I have spoken about this maybe once or twice or something on this vlog, but I don't like the word suffer because I feel like that's cliche, but I do kind of battle with and have to deal with like mental health issues for the last couple of years. Anxiety and then also depression. And I go through swings, ups and downs and stuff like that, where sometimes I'm fine, sometimes there's sometimes there's not like, bad issues, and then sometimes it's fairly bad where I have to continue to really, work on stuff and get better. But I thought it was interesting because from what he was saying to me, all those things are sometimes the complete opposite of actually how I am or how I actually feel, which then made me thinking that, there's so many people out there who portray this fake image and this lifestyle that maybe isn't really completely how they are. The last 2 or 3 months, I would say, has been like somewhat of an all-time low when it comes to my mental health, and it's something that I'm really, really focusing on now to get better at, to work on, to like actually make changes in my life, to focus on getting better and getting out of that and not having to deal with that. So I found it interesting that his perception of me, only seeing me online, was you're doing great, you're living the life, keep it up, you're crushing it, all those things. But in reality, I'm not feeling that certain way. So the reason that I bring this up, one, is because I feel like there's millions of people out there who deal with the same stuff I'm dealing with or have dealt with the same stuff of anxiety, depression that's affected them. And then the other reason I bring this up is because I've always tried to be real with you guys that are watching my videos. Ever since day one, I've always tried to be real with the swings of poker, the emotions, how it affects me, all that kind of stuff, and to be transparent as well. I've showcased the biggest wins of my entire life, the biggest pots I've ever won, and the excitement of those. I've also showcased the biggest losses I've had, the worst downswings, the biggest pots I've ever lost, and the sadness and the heartbreak from that as well. So I want to kind of, portray the full picture. And I also feel like it's good to kind of keep myself accountable and to kind of keep myself, by stating these things online to whoever watches, it can make myself work on my lifestyle and work on, myself to get better and to not dip down into these, tough times. So that also leads me to my next point, which is every single time that I go to Vegas, I realize that it takes a pretty bad toll on my mental health as well. The last time I spoke to the camera about this, I was in Vegas and I wasn't, in the best spot. Every single time that I've gone to Vegas and stayed for a long period of time, it definitely declines, my mental health, and it's not really that great. I think the reason for that is because Vegas is Vegas, and I usually end up getting into a degenerate lifestyle kind of when I'm in Vegas, where all I'm doing is playing poker, sleeping, and eating casino food. So I'm going to try this time when I go out to Vegas to have more of a healthy, balanced lifestyle. What I don't want to do is what I've done in the past, which is spend 8-10 hours in a casino playing till 3, 4, 5 a.m., going home, sleeping all day, waking up, being lazy, laying in bed, not working out, not getting outside, not eating any kind of decent food, and then going right back to the casino and playing all night, sleeping all day, playing all night, sleeping all day, being lazy. I'm going to try not to do that. So in order to do that, I have to come up with a plan. I got to make sacrifices when it comes to poker. So I think this will be kind of cool because in the next 5 videos while I'm out in Vegas, I'll kind of keep you guys updated. I'll use this as an accountability thing to kind of have more of a balanced lifestyle when I'm in Vegas, which is going to the gym, working out, doing things outside of poker, hiking, pickleball, running, you know, dinners, whatever, those kind of things, so that when I'm in Vegas for this week or so, I'm not just in this rhythm of, you know, unhealthy behavior. But I feel like this is something that not many people talk about online. Well, I'm sure some people do, but I just feel like when I watch social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, it's like always the highlights of the best, what people are doing. And I just found it interesting in this situation that like this guy, this friend portrayed me as some way when in reality, it's like almost the exact opposite. So I thought it was kind of interesting to talk about. I think it's something to help people relate to, and then also to help me be accountable to try to work on things and get better. So interesting outro, a little bit different. I got to catch my flight. Hopefully everything goes smooth. We land in Vegas. We got some more Vegas videos for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you enjoyed the Texas vlogs. And until next time, I'll see ya.